Talking about Squad, back at it again with another episode with your boy Marcus Too Raw
Yo.
and your boy Josh, aka JTG. We have a super special guest, a squad homie like none other, a huge fan of W's and L's, none other than Chillmonger.
What's up, people? Chillmonger is the name. Find me on YouTube. Find me on Twitter.
Absolutely. So we brought
Find a
Chillmonger
different way to bring in our guest. Super special guest made it sound like
because he's special, bro. He's
Yeah,
a
see, like-
squad day. Oh, special.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I didn't even take it that way.
You know what I mean? He had to bring it up like that. Anyway,
It was just like in Ms. Marvel, where the dad calls her special. He says that you're not normal. That's what he said, didn't he?
yeah.
So I'm not normal.
yeah.
Bet.
So we brought Chillmonger on today specifically to speak about Ms. Marvel. Now that they've released episode 1, Chillmonger has quite a few thoughts on his YouTube channel on Ms. Marvel. Give a little bit of background on what you've done on your channel about Ms. Marvel.
Well, I've covered it because she's a brand new character and getting into comics recently. Am I gonna look at this guy with 60 years of a history, or am I gonna check out the new folks where I can know everything I need to know from the very beginning and start my journey and know everything I need to know? And this is kind of rewarding with this series. I chose to read characters like Riri Williams, Ms. Marvel, basically the new wave. I've spoken a lot about the representation that she represents in Marvel, and I've got nice things to say about it, but also critical things to say about it, which don't come from a place of hate. And I find that is unique there on YouTube. Like, I'm always talking about the writers and the actual creators that they put on books like this. Is it your top tier, the names, Al Ewing, the names? Is it Ram V? Is it Jason Aaron? Or is it this novelist who's never worked at the company, and here she happens to fit the background of this character, so she'll write the character? That doesn't really translate to sales. So I'm the guy who does that kind of analysis on my channel, and that's where I think I come in on this channel, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I definitely share your thought process and your sentiments in terms of who you choose to write the book and how that shows what your expectations are, I guess, or what you really expect to get from that character. It shows in who you have writing it, for sure.
Very much. It's very telling, and that translates to the series, where you can show what they decided to get right. They casted Iman Vellani, who fits exactly the representation role of it, but they changed the superpowers. Like, don't you think that's kind of important? They didn't change the superpowers for Hulk.
I hate that they ended up changing her powers to some external, with the gauntlet thing. It's like, I don't want to say, I don't, because we don't know how the Fantastic Four are going to be introduced into the MCU yet, but it feels as though it's like, we got a bigger guy who does the same thing. Let's kind of clear that runway.
But she did the same thing when she was saving Zoe in this episode. She stretched to catch it.
Sure.
So it's not like they had a problem with making stretch. And I feel like my problem isn't so much the origin of the power coming from a bracelet rather than Inhuman Terrigen Mist. That's fine. They decided not to make her inhale mist. It's that she can now use her powers in a different way that doesn't exist. Like, there's actual physical light that's shooting out of her foot.
Yet the power blast, the energy constructs, right? Yeah.
Where's that coming from? The purple lantern of her. I don't like the tangible light powers, because it you know what happens? I'll put it this way. Spider-Man has a spider sense, doesn't he? And we can see, when there's a bullet that's about to be shot at him, he gets the senses and he skedaddles.
Yeah.
Imagine if he had bulletproof skin. Doesn't that ruin every single Spider-Man story where that happens? Like, if they add a power, then what happens is every comic book I've read of Kamala Khan Ms. Marvel now is obsolete. It changes. She could actually fly. If she really wanted to wrap herself around with that hard light, she could go from place to place with no issues. All of a sudden, the stories that I've read where traveling from here to there is an issue isn't an issue anymore.
Yeah. I also find it a little weird when they take characters that you could conceptually see with human-based threats, and they suit them up so much that now they become almost cosmic powers, like kind of how what they did with Moon Knight. There wasn't so much emphasis on his prowess fighting hand to hand, his just as Moon Knight. Mark Spector, of course, yeah, we saw Mark Spector fight a bunch. Moon Knight, though, a lot of CGI fights. You know, we had the one fight versus the invisible monster. The final battle scene, we barely saw any fighting. But it just, there are opportunities with those type of characters, Moon Knight, Mark Spector, Punisher, where it doesn't have to be so much of her fighting an alien or some super powered being. Like, her skill set can be used in a kind of a general sense instead of having to be something that fits the Marvel mold already. You know, something that goes in line with how they're already producing superheroes.
And there's gonna be times where Iron Man, he's not that super, but he's taking punches from Thanos. I think because the character was such a success, that gives you a little bit more. And
Yeah.
I can, I can see why they do it. Of course, we want accuracy, but yeah, whatever. Iron Man is super. They would have done the same with Black Panther if and they still can if they recast T'Challa. But
Hey,
but we know that the popularity aspect of it is gonna help with how much you can take and how super you really are.
sure. What are some of your thoughts? What were some of the highlights of episode 1 for you?
The Arabic in the house and the
Okay.
proper representation of what someone growing up in that house is going to have. And that was like what a breath of fresh air. Like, you don't know what you're missing until you see it. Because I'm Muslim, I grew up in a Muslim house, and this is all normal to me, but it's abnormal to see it on a $100 million budget show coming out of Marvel. I'll give it that. The representation, as far as like the responsibility with how they handled culture and religion, was, we gotta tip your hat off to them.
That was actually going to be my next question for you. Is were there any well, I mean, I guess that's the positive side of that. Were there any inconsistencies along the lines of culture, dress, anything like that you saw in episode 1?
Oh, with the dress, Nakia, her friend, the woman who wears a hijab on her head.
Yes, yeah.
In comics, she wears a hijab, but like, she wouldn't show the top of her hair. She would actually wear a
All the
hijab
way,
with the tight, not showing hair. And for some reason, they didn't depict her that way. Like, is she careless about it? I don't feel like that's accurate to Nakia. That's one thing that they didn't do right. There was a moment where I felt like they were trying to push it, where they, what was it? Amir says, "Hey, should I turn off the light? Are you still afraid of the jinn?" And I'm like, yeah, all right. Do you know what a jinn is? Have you ever heard of it?
It's like it's a genie
It's
almost,
like
or like a mystical
kind
character.
of a dark spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not physical, but they see us. They're, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but like, they just did that just so that they can, hey guys, check it out.
Check it out. No, so educate me a bit. Because one thing I did pick up on, she was like one of the only characters that was wearing one, females. Is that like is it an age thing? Is it just a preference because they're in America? Maybe they're more westernized, or is that
That's
what it is?
probably it. So in Islam, in the actual religion, if she becomes a woman, so that would be you having your period. Okay, these are the standards. You wear a hijab on your head to cover your body. And of course, not everyone is going to do it. Everyone practices their faith differently, and that's fine too. But if you were playing Nakia, dress like Nakia,
Okay, yeah, for sure. What are you expecting, or what is episode 1 set up in terms of character building that's different outside of the power set stuff? Is there anything character wise that's a bit of a stray that you saw in episode 1 that you think is going to be like a common thing throughout the series?
No, not from Kamala. They got her, and even Bruno too. They got him too. There's a little bit of tension and a little bit of romance.
Yeah, he was a little scared there. He got a little nervous. We're going to have to have a talk with Bruno.
When he was on the roof with her,
Yeah, he
they
choked.
stopped,
He
they looked
froze.
at each other. He looked into her eyes, and then his eyes dipped down to the lips, and then went back to the eyes again.
See, you got to make the move, man. She was ready. It was there. You got to put pedal to metal.
What happens in the comics is she's disinterested. She shows no interest at all. All of a sudden, Bruno moves on, finds a woman, and she goes, "Yeah, why do I feel jealous right now? I think I like Bruno." And that starts something. They eventually will get together, but that's probably not happening in season 1.
Okay, for sure. Do you think this is something that gets greenlit for season 2? It does seem like a very more family-oriented series, which makes me think that they are one of the ones that may get greenlit for a season 2.
Yeah, and after one episode, That's a question that I'm like thinking about now. Of course,
Yeah.
we gotta let the whole show play out. They could have 5 stinkers, and I will not shy away from calling it a stinker. I'm not gonna pretend to like it just because. And if that happens, then no, probably not a season 2. I hope so though. I think they know that she's gonna be in Captain Marvel 2, and those are the first 2 like projects on the Iman Vellani contract. How long is the contract? I don't know, but you would imagine if they do her again, it would be a second season.
How do you feel about Iman Vellani outside of, the show itself? Obviously, a lot of people are happy with her having knowledge about the MCU and everything going on. How do you feel about how she's portraying herself as a Marvel fan and just who she is as an actress?
Very relatable as a Marvel fan. Plus, she's from like down the street. She lives in Markham, Ontario. I'm in Toronto. That's not too far away. She's like a local, and everything she says, like when you want to cheer for someone, like I'm sure you guys had it for LeBron, right? He's from Akron. You guys are from what, Columbus?
Sure.
Yep.
So hometown, you kind of want them to succeed. So there's a lot of love already just from the casting, from Inception, and then seeing her say, "Hey, I don't care what Feige says. It's Earth 1999." Yeah, that's right. Like, speak your mind. You don't have to be. And she's not trained. She's not like Hollywoodized. She's gonna say things like that. She even like revealed that Tom Holland spoiled for her, and you're supposed to keep a lookout for your co-castmate, right? You're not supposed to say that and make Tom Holland and the spoiler reputation grow. So she doesn't know. She's not Hollywood trained yet, so that helps. And of course, I hope it never hurts her, but it helps. And I'm cheering for her.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't change. Like that level of authenticity to like that's the stuff that you look for when you're looking for like a real comic book fan, right? Like somebody who knows their stuff. I hope it doesn't change. It probably will. They'll probably beat it out of her like Mark Ruffalo, but we'll enjoy it while it's here.
She speaks responsibly though. In every interview I've seen her do, she nails it. She even said something that resonates with me where they asked her about representation. She goes, "Listen, I'm just playing a Muslim character or a Pakistani. This doesn't represent everyone. Of course, that would be ridiculous to think our show, but it is a story of many stories that possibly could be told, and I'm happy to play my part." She had an answer like that, and I'm like, that is, she's what, 18 years old? That's an answer beyond her years.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to see, I guess, from the series coming up?
Comic book accuracy.
Okay.
I would like to see a villain pop up that's credible. We know that she's not going to die because she's in Captain Marvel 2, and it's the first time we see her. So how they could like up the stakes, I don't know. Maybe if her parents are in danger, because they did a good job of making us care about the supporting cast. What I would want to see, I guess I'm open to whatever they decide to do. I just hope it sticks.
Yeah.
What would you like to see? See, it's hard to answer, right? Because you don't want to make the expectation.
Yeah, you gotta kind of let it develop and see where it's gonna go. I would say the tone for me, even though it was a good first episode, the tone felt a little light. But again, I'm not familiar with the Kamala Khan character in terms of the books. Like I don't read her enough to know, like, oh wait, this is just Kamala Khan. So it's a bit of a shock to me. But I guess I want to see them be able to have real stakes, and I guess that goes along with what you were saying with the villain. Like, I want something that matters to happen in this series to make me pay attention. It's not enough just to show me good cinematography. You're spending millions of dollars creating these television shows. It's going to look nice. That's no longer the bar for me when it comes to comic book content. I can get good cinematography just about anywhere now. So it's not the Marvel standard of creating television shows has kind of shifted for me personally because they've gotten just a slight bit cookie cutter-ish. I also, if there is some sort of introspective, dialogue driven thing that's constant throughout the series, kind of like the grief thing with WandaVision, or forgiveness and acceptance with Falcon and the Winter Soldier and stuff like that. If there is,
her identity is the common thread. She's gonna look. She even said it, like, the brown girls from Jersey City don't save the world. That's a reflection of like the crappy like Perlmutter era of Marvel and the situation we are in today, where it just so happens like they're top 5 super, with the exception of Black Panther, I should say. But again, they're not recasting. So before Black Panther, you would look at it and you would say, oh, it's all white folks. Well, This little New Jersey 16-year-old sees it's all white folks. She actually believes that the genre, the occupation of being a superhero is a white thing. And that's something that is being tackled right now. And I think it'll carry on until she finally discovers herself as like, she views herself as a hero. Maybe something from her grandmother when they visit. I think they're going to visit later in the season. I think that she's going to tell her, listen, you come from a lineage of heroes. Be yourself, which is a hero. I think that's a lesson that could be learned. The comic books touch on it too, because every time she does something super, she changes her body to Carol Danvers because she views Carol Danvers as a hero. But one time, Kamala gets shot. She heals only when she turns into Kamala. So she finds out, look, I'm actually literally stronger when I am myself. So I'm just going to be a superhero looking like Kamala Khan with a little mask. And it's like an empowering moment and message for the kids and for anyone who reads that comic.
Message.
They should have done that in this series, but they had to go and add her little light powers. And I don't think so far she can polymorph and do what a Skrull does and change her appearance. So far, no.
Two things with that, because I had a follow up to that. But do you think that means at some point we'll see Brie Larson in the series?
Yeah, that's a good little season. That's a season closer, eh? She just says, "Hey, I've been hearing about you, kid. What's your name?" You know, that would be like an amazing way.
But then again, Captain Marvel is useless. She's probably somewhere in space, you know, jerking off or whatever. But
objection.
But with the with her identity, right? Her emotional through line, the introspective part of the show, I hope it remains peripheral. And I say that because I feel like in at least 2 or 3 of these series, the emotional part, right? The emotional awakening, the epiphany, that part of it kind of took away from the story, especially in Loki. Right? I felt like there was at least 2 episodes of Loki where we were like having therapy sessions when we should have been moving the story along. The episode where they were on the train car is just like, oh, yes. I'm like, don't make it so much about her coming to terms with her identity that it takes away from the plot.
You want to hear something about that episode? Bisha K. Ali, the head writer of this show, wrote that episode.
God damn it. God damn it.
So did I like episode 1 because of the actors, the performances, and the directors? I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe I did. Like, I got to see what Bisha K. Ali has cooking for episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I'm still not sold on the writing. But, you know, the delivery of the mom kind of maybe saved some of that writing, I think.
Sure.
You know what I like? That you're not asking me, but I'll tell you. When the mother goes, "What's happening? Are you pranking us? Is Bruno putting this on internet?" She didn't say this on the internet. She said internet. I'm sure the scripting said the internet, and then the actors said, no. We don't use the word the. You know, where English is a foreign language. We're just gonna go straight to the thing. And I feel like that's something input that came from the authentic directing.
Yeah. I didn't pick up on that part of it. I did think that was a funny part of the show.
It was tiny, but it was accurate.
Nice nuances. See, that's why we brought him on. You know what I mean? Insight. Chill, man. We definitely thank you for coming on and rapping with us about it. I'm gonna keep watching the series. I'm interested enough to keep going. So that's a good step, you know, especially for something I don't think that's gauged for my age group necessarily. But it's still good. It's quality. I can recognize quality when I see it. It's good so far.
In a different perspective.
Sure.
I'm going to take this moment to compliment you guys in your channel. I love the brotherhood of seeing the 2 of you guys here, like literally together sitting on the sofa. And that's like something that we, the viewers, because I like your channel too, we like seeing that. We want that to continue, even though you guys were not the Perp Show award-winning channel of 2000.
Well, anyway, it's been great chopping it up with you. Time to wrap this up.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
Your 2-hour Black Panther issue 6 review. Every single, that wasn't something you stretched. Every single minute of that, Marcus, was like, yes, this is a terrible comic book. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, man. I didn't even intend for it to go that long, but I appreciate it. Thanks.
It was fun editing that.
All right, man. Be easy.
Peace.